Most people are waiting. Waiting for motivation, waiting for confidence, waiting for the right opportunity, waiting for a sign that it's finally time to start. And while they're waiting, their life keeps moving. Days become weeks, weeks become months, months become years. The scary part? Most people don't even realize they're doing it. They think something will eventually change. That one day they'll wake up more disciplined, more focused, more ready. But that day never comes. Because the truth is, nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is coming to fix your habits. Nobody is coming to build your future. Nobody is coming to make your life better. And as harsh as that sounds, it's actually good news. Because the moment you stop waiting for someone else, you finally take control of your own life. And that's where everything begins to change. Most people think they're stuck because they don't have enough motivation. But that's rarely the real problem. The real problem is that they're waiting. Waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for more confidence, waiting until life feels easier, waiting until they finally feel ready. The strange thing is, most people don't even realize they're doing it. Because waiting feels reasonable, it feels responsible, it feels smart. You tell yourself, I just need a little more time. I need to prepare first. I'll start when things calm down. And for a while, those excuses sound convincing. But eventually something happens. Weeks pass, months pass, sometimes years pass, and your life looks almost exactly the same. Not because you lacked potential, not because you lacked intelligence, because you stayed in preparation mode. Many people spend more time thinking about change than creating change. They watch videos, read books, make plans, set goals, imagine a better future. But imagination is not action. Planning is not action. Thinking is not action. At some point, action has to begin. The waiting trap is dangerous because it creates the illusion of progress. You feel productive because you're thinking about improving your life. You feel productive because you're planning. You feel productive because you're preparing. But your actual life remains unchanged. Imagine standing at the starting line of a race. You spend hours adjusting your shoes, checking the weather, studying the track, planning every step. Meanwhile, everyone else has already started running. That's what happens when waiting becomes a habit. You become addicted to preparation, addicted to possibility, addicted to the idea of change, but never the reality of it. The truth is, you will never feel completely ready. There will always be uncertainty. There will always be fear. There will always be reasons to wait. That's why waiting is a trap with no finish line. Because the moment one excuse disappears, another one takes its place. And before you know it, you've spent years waiting for a moment that was never going to arrive. The people who change their lives aren't the people who wait for certainty. They're the people who act despite uncertainty. Because they understand something most people don't. The perfect moment is a myth. And the longer you wait for it, the more of your life you lose waiting. If waiting is so harmful, why do so many people do it? Because waiting feels safer than responsibility. The moment you take full responsibility for your life, everything changes. Suddenly, there is nobody left to blame. Not your parents, not your boss, not your circumstances, not bad luck, not society, just you. And for many people, that's uncomfortable. Because responsibility is heavy. It's much easier to believe that something outside of you is the problem. That success belongs to people with better opportunities, better genetics, better connections, better luck. Because if the problem is outside of you, you don't have to change. You can keep waiting. You can keep hoping. You can keep telling yourself that things will improve someday. But someday is a dangerous place, because most people never leave it. The truth is that many people secretly want a rescue. They want someone to tell them exactly what to do. They want motivation to appear. They want confidence to appear. They want life to suddenly become easier. But that's not how growth works. Nobody wakes up one morning completely transformed. Nobody suddenly becomes disciplined. Nobody suddenly becomes confident. Those things are earned, one action at a time, one difficult decision at a time, one uncomfortable step at a time. The reason people want to be saved is simple. Taking responsibility means accepting that your future depends on your actions, and that's scary, because it removes every excuse. But it also gives you something powerful: control. The moment you accept responsibility, you stop being a victim of your circumstances. You stop waiting for permission. You stop waiting for a sign. You stop waiting for someone else to fix your life. And that's the moment real change becomes possible. Because while responsibility feels heavy at first, it's actually freedom. The freedom to stop waiting. The freedom to stop blaming. the freedom to finally move forward. Most people spend years hoping that something will save them. The people who change their lives realize something different. No one is coming. And that's exactly why they decide to save themselves. There is a moment that changes every successful person's life. Not when they become motivated, not when they find the perfect strategy, not when they finally feel confident. The moment everything changes is much simpler. It's the moment they stop waiting. The moment they stop looking for a rescue. The moment they stop hoping that someone else will solve their problems. Because as long as you're waiting for something outside of yourself, you remain powerless. You give control to circumstances, to luck, to other people, to the future. And whenever you give away control, you give away your ability to change. But eventually, some people reach a breaking point. They get tired of waiting, tired of excuses, tired of watching the same year repeat itself again and again. And that's when a powerful realization appears. My life is my responsibility. At first, that idea feels uncomfortable, because it means accepting your mistakes, your delays, your bad habits, your poor decisions. But it also means something else. It means your future is still in your hands, and that's where freedom begins. The moment you take responsibility, you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What can I do about it?" That small shift changes everything. Because one question creates helplessness, the other creates action. One keeps you stuck, the other moves you forward. The truth is that your life usually changes long before the results appear. It changes the moment your mindset changes. The moment you stop acting like a spectator and start acting like the person responsible for the outcome. That's why personal responsibility is so powerful. It doesn't guarantee success, but it guarantees movement. And movement is what creates success. The people who transform their lives aren't always the smartest or the most talented. They're often the people who finally accepted one simple truth: nobody is coming. And because nobody is coming, they decided to become the person they had been waiting for. That's the moment everything changes. Not when life changes, when you change. Most people think they need more information. Another book, another video, another strategy, another piece of advice. But information is rarely the problem. In fact, most people already know exactly what they should be doing. They know they should exercise. They know they should spend less time scrolling. They know they should focus on important work. They know they should sleep better. They know they should stop procrastinating. The problem isn't knowledge. The problem is execution. Think about it. How many times have you learned something that could improve your life? And how many times did you actually apply it? That's the gap that keeps people stuck. The gap between knowing and doing. And for many people, that gap becomes a permanent home. They consume information every day. They watch self-improvement videos, listen to podcasts, read articles, take notes, but their life never changes. Because learning feels productive. It feels like progress. But knowledge without action is entertainment, nothing more. You can spend years studying discipline and still remain undisciplined. You can spend years learning about success and still stay stuck. Because information only becomes valuable when it changes behavior. That's why the most successful people aren't always the most informed. They're often the people who take action on what they already know, while everyone else keeps searching for the next answer. The truth is, you probably don't need another strategy. You don't need another motivational quote. You don't need another secret. You need to act on the information you already have. Because deep down, you already know the next step. Maybe it's making the phone call, starting the workout, finishing the project, having the difficult conversation, waking up earlier, turning off distractions. The answer is usually obvious. The hard part is doing it. That's why growth doesn't come from knowing more, it comes from acting more. The people who change their lives eventually realize something powerful. The quality of your life is not determined by what you know, it's determined by what you do. And the moment you stop collecting advice and start taking action, everything begins to move forward. Most people spend their lives waiting for a hero, someone who will help them, guide them, motivate them, push them forward, someone who will finally make everything easier. But life doesn't work that way. Nobody is coming. And the sooner you accept that, the stronger you become. Because waiting for a hero keeps you weak. It keeps you dependent. It teaches you that your future belongs to someone else. But the truth is that every person you admire eventually learned the same lesson. At some point, they stopped waiting. They stopped hoping someone would rescue them, and they took responsibility for their own life. That's what real self-respect looks like. Not believing you're perfect, not believing you're special, believing that your life is your responsibility, and acting accordingly. Think about it. Every time you solve a problem yourself, you become stronger. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you become stronger. Every time you do something difficult without being forced, you become stronger. Because you're teaching yourself an important lesson. I can handle this. I can rely on myself. I can move forward even when nobody helps me. That's how confidence is built. Not through motivation, not through encouragement, through evidence. Evidence that you can trust yourself. Most people are searching for confidence before they act. But confidence comes after action, after effort, after struggle, after overcoming resistance. That's why becoming your own hero isn't about becoming fearless. It's about moving forward despite fear. It's about doing what needs to be done even when nobody is watching, even when nobody is cheering for you, even when nobody believes in you. Because one day you'll realize something powerful. The person you've been waiting for is you. The discipline, the confidence, the courage, the change. It was never going to come from someone else. It had to come from you. And the moment you stop waiting for rescue, you stop being a spectator in your own life. You become the person in control, the person responsible, the person capable of creating change. That's why nobody coming to save you isn't bad news. It's freedom. Because it means your future is still in your hands. And that means you can start changing it today. Most people spend years waiting. Waiting for motivation. Waiting for confidence. Waiting for the perfect opportunity. Waiting for someone to change their life for them. But the truth is, that day never comes. Because nobody is coming. Nobody is coming to build your habits. Nobody is coming to fix your mindset. Nobody is coming to create your future. That's your responsibility. And while that may sound harsh, it's actually one of the most empowering truths you'll ever hear. Because the moment you stop waiting, you take your power back. You stop blaming circumstances. You stop blaming timing. You stop blaming other people. And you start focusing on the only thing you can control, your actions. The reality is that your future is being created right now, by what you do today, not tomorrow, not next week, today. Every decision matters. Every habit matters. Every promise you keep to yourself matters. Because those small actions eventually become your life. The day you stop waiting for someone to save you is the day you start saving yourself. The day you stop looking for a hero is the day you become one. Not for the world, for yourself. Because nobody is coming. And that's exactly why you have to move. You have to act. You have to take responsibility. You have to become the person you've been waiting for. And when you do, everything starts to change. Not because life got easier, because you got stronger.